All right, explorers. Today we are at the Warm Springs Camp. This was a mining camp, and before that, back before 1890s, the Panamint Shoshone Indians had their winter camp up here. And I'm going to kind of read this off because I'm sure you can't see through this very well. I'll move right in and see if you can. Anyway, Tribal Chief Panamint Tom built a ranch here in the late 1880s. They had orchards and crops and 150 fruit trees. That's pretty cool. In the spring of '97, they had a violent flash flood that came through here and it wiped out the entire ranch. And then after that, it became a mining camp. And this gal here, really, I know you can't see that picture very well. Louise Grantham, she built this mining camp up here, and there's a warm springs that runs through. There's a big pool. We'll go up and take a look at all of that in a minute. I just wanted to start here at the sign, give you some of the timing on this. There was a bit of mining up here. You can see right down here, there's still some of the equipment up on the hill. There's a big mine shaft that goes back in there. They were mining talc up here. I'm up here tripping around with a buddy of mine who's a geologist, and we've talked about that. If you haven't seen some of the other videos that I've done up here, be sure and hit the links up in the upper corner up there. We stayed up at the geologist cabin last night. We actually camped here the night before, and then we went out and checked out Emmett's cabin, and there's a video for that up there. But we're back here at the Warm Springs Camp, and yeah, let's go take a look around at some of the stuff that we've got here. You can see that the Park Service, this is all part of Death Valley National Park now, so they're taking a little better care of it. They've put all this metal roofing on to help protect the buildings, and you know, a lot of the glass has been broke out. There's a lot of rats and mice and stuff that are in here. So these buildings are kind of nasty. They're not as clean. They could be cleaned up. Certainly volunteers that come up do some stuff to keep everything clean, and it needs some more work. You know, like you can see, the ceiling's falling down and there's a lot of debris on the floor there. You can see here's a full bathroom. But this is all just such neat stuff, you know, that this is a mining camp. These were showers. No, I guess there was a toilet in here. They had some showers here. One of these buildings has a big walk-in refrigerator, walk-in freezer. I guess this was probably like a tool building, tool shed. Take a look in there. Trying not to spend too much time in any of the buildings. You know, there's signs everywhere, all over up in this area, all over Death Valley and lots of different places about the hantavirus from the rodents that live in here and whatnot. So, you know, you want to be careful when you're moving around, make sure you're not stirring up too much dust. I've seen people that come up here and they'll wear, you know, the paper masks and stuff to keep that out of their mouth and nose and lungs. We'll go in and check out this place. This place is pretty cool. You know, you take a look at this block. This is all the rounded corner block. This is old stuff. Had a big pantry storage in here. Was a nice kitchen, you know, big stainless double-sided kitchen. All the knotty pine cabinets, and this island seems to have been moved around, but this was probably their dining hall and, you know, main kitchen for all the mining camps. But it's dark in there, you're not gonna be able to see, but we've got this big walk-in refrigerator. This is pretty cool. So they used a lot of electricity up here. They must have had power coming up the hill. A couple of different rooms. And then, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this water that's running through here, this is warm. This is really warm. This is awesome. It would be neat if there was something of a tub that you could run that water in and get into. I just love this stuff. This is so cool. And I don't know if you can see the water there. Right on the other side of all these bushes, there's another building. It's kind of like little hotel rooms. So they probably had some kind of a situation where people could rent rooms. They had full bathrooms and showers and everything in them. But let's go down here. I'll show you what was an amazingly cool and incredible piece to have at a mining camp. They had a pool. Look at this pool, a diving board. And the warm water used to run into here. Now the Parks Department has diverted the fill pipe off of it, you know, trying to keep this from having water in it. But look at this. Up here in this canyon, way out of nowhere, out in Death Valley, is a Warm Springs pool. That's pretty awesome. Would love to have been able to come up here when it was full. All right, let's go check out some of the mine stuff. Okay, so up here we've got this hole that goes back in, and I've been told that this was actually used as a storage. This isn't a mine. This is dug out. There's shelves and whatnot. There's an old toilet in here. But this would have been a cool dry storage. You know, like potatoes, and if they had canned goods or something, it was a long-term dry storage. And then there's this foundation here. I don't know what was here. Probably some kind of a preparation building. And then come down here, and people have set up this little camp area. There's a couple of fire pits and some picnic tables and whatnot. You know, camping is allowed here. So, you know, if you get out and you're exploring out in Death Valley and you want to come up in here, this is a great place to come up and camp. Like I said, we camped our first night here, and then the second night up at one of the cabins. It's neat. It's just beautiful. If you like desert, boy, there's a lot of it up here. All right, so now we're over at the old stamp mill. This was an old crusher, and they would bring their ore in and put it up in this hopper, and it would go through and get crushed and come out and get processed. I absolutely love all this old machinery, this old mechanical stuff. Look at this. Look at this piece. This was a single slug steam engine that ran these big pulleys, and you would have had belts that ran up into here and turn all of these pieces. And all this ore, let's walk around this side. A lot of this stuff is just collapsed in. You know, it's just, they're not doing anything. Oh, there's a Mowgli dog. They're not doing anything to maintain this. Hopefully people aren't taking parts off of this anymore. But you can see there would have been a work floor here. All kinds of different pieces. Right there was a tumbler. So they would run all the crushed ore into that and turn this, and it would rotate around. And the smaller stuff, I can see holes, and hopefully you can see those holes in there. Kind of lean in. I want to be really careful I don't knock anything down. And then they had a sluice box right here. So they would tumble this stuff and run it through that sluice box. Really just an amazing amount of hard work that these people did. Living out here in these conditions and working with equipment like this and stuff. I have so much respect for anybody that did this for a living and provided the things that they did for their family and community. It's incredible. And to get to see a camp like this, where you've got a hot springs tub, you know, a big swimming pool, you've got, best I could describe it as a small hotel room. I think there's 3 rooms in there, and then there's kind of a dining hall. Just amazing. Anyway, I'll get down there and we'll take a look at that mine shaft here in just a few minutes. All right, so here we are at the mine shaft entrance. This is actually a pretty big opening to go into this. Let's go over and take a look. So this is some of the limestone that's been, this is still pretty hard, but this basically is turned limestone. This rock coming up as a volcanic action. With the pressure and the heat, it cooked the limestone and turned it into talc, and that's what they were mining up here, along with some other minerals and precious metals. But the bulk of the mining that they did up here was for the talc. This is just huge. They've got these old bars that they've machined into the rock to keep vehicles from coming in. They've actually got, there's a gate here, but they've got it welded shut now. It'd be pretty cool to get back in there, but you can see that goes back down in there, and that's a big adit. There's a big hole in the rocks. I got all kinds of pieces of steel and chain link to keep the rock from falling down. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but there's a 14 or 16 inch air shaft right up there that they use for ventilation in here. I'd love to get back in there with some flashlights and explore that. That's pretty cool. So this was my little trip up into Death Valley. I sure appreciate you guys coming along and enjoying it with me. And like I said, if you want to get out here and explore, come up and check some of this stuff out. There's some really neat places to see and stay. Definitely be sure and stay over here at the Warm Springs Camp. Good camping all around here. Lots of good places to set up camp for the night. And then from here, you just follow the road on up, and it'll go back into Butte Valley. And when you see painted butte or striped butte, you know you're getting close to the cabins. You can see the one cabin right straight across the valley there. And, there's a couple other cabins that are out there that you can go and stay. And it's pretty cool. The night that we were up there, we had two different groups of people come by, and the one couple came in and they actually camped in their car right outside the cabin there. It's just super mellow. People come up here and just to hang out. It's a great way to just unwind and unplug and really relax. Be sure and bring firewood. That's all I can tell you. Be sure to bring firewood and bring some food. And if you're doing anything at any of the cabins, please be sure that you leave them in better shape than you found them. If you're getting ready to head out and you're all done with your trip and you've got any kind of dry goods, canned goods or whatever, leave them there. There's places to store stuff and just really enjoy and leave it for somebody else to enjoy as well. All right. Thanks, you guys, for coming along. Be sure, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it. And right next to it, hit that little bell. Get the notifications on any new videos that I put out. All right. Thanks for joining me.